Riddler has posted a brand new set of riddles for us to take a look at. This one says, totally 10 hints buried in the pic. All point to early juicy exclusive info from me. Could you solve it? And of course, as per usual, we do have our boy Soul Silver, who does have an explanation for what could be going on here. So let's get started. And here we go. Soul Silver says, here it is. We have a key. Potential spoilers. I'm not 100% yet, but it seems Garchomp, Regirock, Zekrom are telling us the typings of the starters' final evos, but which one gets which type? I'm also having a hard time believing they would get these types. Now, keep in mind, it is April Fool's technically, so Riddler could just be messing with us because he goes off and says, well, many fans are so far away from the truth. Here's a simple one for your practice. And this one shows off an image which looks kind of interesting. We've got pictures of Ethan. I don't really know who the other ones are. It's like the Sun and Moon character, and I forgot my boy's name from freaking Black and White. But that's besides the point. The Pokemon we do see, though, is the Decidueye, Typhlosion, and Samurott being shown off here, so I don't really know if that's the case, but we'll see what happens. So, he goes on here saying that these are early hints, and here's a theory of what he might, think's going on here, and saying that every symbol means, the stars and heart, etc., and he goes on, he says, Riddler recently posted this, saying there are 10 hints. Here's what I have so far from Arnold, and Arnold goes on to say that the top part there, it says Gen 9, then Box Legends, then Fighting Dragon Electric, which could be the starter's second typings, which would be a bit extreme if we're looking at the items there, because that just seems a bit odd. But on the top, you see basically two icons for the Box Legends, specifically for their typings. I think one of those is an icon for Dragon, and the other one is for Dark typing, which would be interesting typings. Well, I mean, Dragon does not seem that crazy, but it's besides the point. There's a mention of Gen 4, then Gen 9 Titan Pokemon, as well as Gen 5 mention, which means possibly a kind of hint towards Gen 5 happening in this case. And the main trainer theme, as well as forms and evos at the bottom, and Dex/new Pokemon being 151 in this case, which I don't really know if that would be the situation, but I don't know. We'll have to wait and see if that's the case, though. But what are you guys' thoughts on this? Because right now, I have a hard time really putting this together. There's a small chance, though, as mentioned also by Soul Silver, this is a April Fool's joke, so it's wise to be basically cautious, as 10 hints seems like quite a lot. However, he doesn't believe it's a troll. Who personally told him that it doesn't troll like this. He doesn't do this kind of stuff. It would hurt his credibility and purposely give false info if he did this. However, the initial thing he uses to throw off the week from his riddles is by looking at you on people on Reddit, I guess, in this case. As for personal takes, he says, I'm almost certain this contains the typings of some new Pokemon, probably a legendary trio, probably the box legendaries, and or possibly the starter's final typings, which would be interesting. The intriguing thing is the 151, could we really get that many new Pokemon? That seems like a really high number if we were to get 151 brand new Pokemon, but that could also be hinting at the Gen 5 games, which were basically a reboot of Pokemon, only featuring the 151 for the main journey of the game, right? So that is possible, and it could also be that a lot of those 151 Pokemon could also just be genuinely forms, with 50 of them being forms, the rest being other stuff. That's also a possibility, but kind of seems highly unlikely, to be frankly honest with you guys. And he says, the most intriguing is the 151. Could we really get that many new mons? Is it possibly a callback to Gen 5 and how they did a soft reboot? Or is the 151 related to having a original 151 in this game? Or Mew related? Also, what's the 28 section referring to in Masters 28? And new gimmick or new forms, 26 new forms, or 151 main dex mons. Also, Dragon Dark type Pokemon, perhaps legendaries, or one singular legendary with Dragon and Dark typing to it. Could be that. We'll have to wait and see. It continues on. There's also maybe hints to the new gimmick in here. These are 3 sync pairs, so Ku's first hint of the 3 symbol is here as well. 3 type ID again, or could have to do with the triple battles, a mechanic that has to do with swapping between 3 Pokemon, or 3 trainers, or 3 types. Now, I personally think the 3 typing is the most likely one. I think we might finally get a sort of third typing of Pokemon, because that's the one thing they haven't done yet, right? Fusions have kind of happened in one way or shape with Kyurem, etc. and whatnot. That's kind of happened in one way or shape. However, we've never done 3 typings. We've done 3rd and 4th evolutions, right? With Megas being like a 4th evolution almost thing, but it's temporary. We've done giant Pokemon. We've done extreme moves. We haven't, however, done a 3rd typing. That's the one area they have not explored yet, so would it be that crazy to assume that they might go down the path of giving a temporary 3rd typing to certain Pokemon? This could add for a really crazy different take to how a lot of Pokemon are going to work and how the meta is going to work, because honestly, a 3rd typing adds in a really different layer of how certain Pokemon are going to work in battle. But we continue on. There's a possibility that Cynthia and Anne return, seeing as the player character is the third character here. But what are all those transparent symbols under the characters? What's the rainbow hexagon? And there are so many numbers to decipher. Dates seem like good early hint kind of info. And we go on here. The new Dark Dragon going to be a thing. Megan are back with 3v3 is back. We don't really know if that's going to be the case, and probably a stretch, but the 28595, when formatted as a date in Excel, yields April 15th, 1978. Year is obviously off, but the 15th is a Friday, which is usually sometimes where they could drop, trailers and things like that. It does happen on those like Fridays, Thursdays, and Wednesdays usually. Those are like the 3 days that you can be ready for a Pokemon trailer to happen. So just keep that in mind. It's an important thing to remember. Now, we have a pseudo legend, a minor legend, and a main box legend. Could those be the new Pokemon he's hinting to, or new forms of these specific ones, including Hydreigon? Also, could the top right corner be a new Mons typing? Because in the top right, you do have like those two logos. So is that what's going on here? And somebody says, gonna guess the two legendaries are Dragon and Dark. Not both, but one of them is Dragon and the other is Dark. Could be the case, but we'll have to wait and see. And what stage is this potentially on, by the way? It's a Dark Dragon weak stage, which makes me think Champion Iris, which would be a bit odd. But the stage is Latias in the Legendary Arena. You can see the 26 out of Infinite right there, and they continue on. So if you have any answers on what these symbols and numbers and images are, please reply and message him here. And he did continue on, with people replying and saying what their thoughts and opinions are. But personally, I'm a little bit torn. Now, of course, it is April Fool's, so it could be the Riddler who is just messing with us and giving us basically essentially nothing to work with and just literally giving us false info. Could be the case, but we'll have to wait and see if that is actually the situation right here, because I don't really know, man. What do you guys think about this? So we continue on to the next. So a last minute big update that I want to add in here is that apparently, according to one of these Twitter accounts called Dylan, apparently, if it is truly true, the starter final Evo typings could be what's possibly being hinted in one of the first images right here. If we look at what's being posted down here, he specifically says the items don't match up with the Hisui starters though. The order of the Mons are Decidueye, Typhlosion, and Samurott, while the order of the items are Dark, Ghost, and Fighting. So maybe the items in the other picks should be reversed as well. So if we take the new starters and align them up with the Hisui starters, we get Grass Electric, Fire Dragon, and Water Fighting. Maybe I'm just thinking too much into the placement of the items, but sharing my thoughts. In the pick in the right, we see Dark and Dragon in the top right, but it isn't present in the left pick. So is that not the typing part of the riddle? We don't really know, but it could connect well, as you can see right here, to what we're looking at. So what do you guys think about that? So this is by Arbusto Moore over on Twitter. It says, saw the other day that the Portuguese national flower is lavender, laventon, kind of stretching. I know, maybe. I thought it was the red carnations, and although it's not the Portuguese, it seems it's Spain's national flower. Another Scarlet and Violet connection, maybe. If PL8 Professor Lavender and / Violet, then Sword and Shield Professor are descendants like Redwood and Sequoia and Scarlet, which with connections to the Redwood rumor would make a lot of sense. And the day Portugal was foreshadowed in the anime was the day PL8 came out, 28th of January. So could it possibly be the deal that's going on right here? Could it possibly connect? We'll have to wait and see, because I don't really know, lads. Like, it's just anything is possible right here. And also, shout out to this guy for basically putting together a lot of possible, ideas for what could be happening. I'd love to know your guys' further thoughts on that. To be honest, as I mentioned earlier, the most likely thing out of all this stuff has got to be the third typing, in my opinion. The feature of this game is something we do not know anything about yet. It's the one thing we're waiting to see revealed, the one thing that doesn't have an actual piece of info out of it. So I would love to know what you guys' thoughts is on that in particular in the comment section down below. And that's it. I'll see you next time.